It was the year 1854, and the British government was entrenched in a bloody battle called the Crimean War. Florence Nightingale served on one of the floors of the wards where the soldiers were brought after they had been injured on the battlefield. Unlike women of her generation, she had been educated, and what she witnessed inspired her to pen a letter to the British government. For what she saw around her was that the soldiers were not dying from the injuries they sustained on the battlefield, but were dying from the death, disease, and infection that seemed to follow the physician from the bedside to the bedside to the bedside. Florence Nightingale knew something was fundamentally wrong. She implemented a policy of hygiene and sanitation among her support staff. Florence Nightingale challenged conventional medical practice. She challenged the status quo and forever fundamentally changed the future of science, history, and medicine with the establishment of the profession of nursing. Today, there are nearly 19 million nurses worldwide and 4 million in the United States. Every day, nurses stand on the front line between life and death of patients, handling hundreds of thousands of dollars of highly complex medical equipment, technology, and medications to keep a patient alive the many hours a day a physician is not by the bedside. And nurses are the end user of nearly every medical product on the market. However, nurses are rarely, if ever, engaged in the decision-making process of which products are to be brought forth into the healthcare system. Unlike places like Google or Amazon, where employees are rewarded for identifying inefficiencies and fixing them, nurses run the risk of losing their jobs. The truth is, we must embrace a culture of innovation whereby frontline workers can bring forward their innovation. For innovation is the moment between stagnation and progress. Innovation is the impossible, the unseeable, the unbelievable, the unattainable, until it is the possible, the believable, the attainable, the seeable. We must cultivate programs and environments that support those who want to drive forward innovation. And I have one idea: hackathons. I studied the environment of healthcare hackathons around Boston. And what I learned was that a very small percentage of nurses were attending those events. And lucky for me, I picked up the phone and connected with Dr. Nancy Hanrahan, who was the dean of a leading school of nursing at the time. I explained to her my experience at this hackathon, and she said, "Rebecca, I'm running this summit on innovation and entrepreneurship next year. Why don't you run a hackathon?" And I said, "Well, I've been to a hackathon. Sure, I'll run a hackathon." I joined a team of incredible volunteers, and for the next year, we worked tirelessly towards this event. The truth is, we had no idea if anyone would show up or if anybody would believe that nurses should be innovators. 250 people were attending, and Dr. Hanrahan called me and she said, "Rebecca, what's next?" And I said, "I don't know, Dr. Hanrahan, what is next?" And she said, "We can't just introduce nurses to the ideas of innovation and entrepreneurship and leave them without support. I want you to come on as the director of innovation and entrepreneurship." And I said, "What program are we going to model after?" She's like, "There is none." We built the leading program of innovation and entrepreneurship for nurses. It led to the first time in the history of the American Nurses Association to appoint their first vice president of innovation. And it also allowed Johnson & Johnson to pivot their campaign of recognizing and thanking nurses for their service to recognizing nurse innovators across the history of healthcare. We had started seismic change in the world of nursing, and the truth is, perhaps the best chance we have at saving the future of nursing. The answers to our current healthcare challenges will not be solved by the status quo or conventional practice. The answers to our challenges will be found in those who embrace and cultivate a collaborative environment of innovation to drive forward and advance healthcare for all.